So Colts fans, let's talk. I know this is not really the message you want to hear, but your owner is self-sabotaging again. All right. So I've talked recently, and being a Jaguars-focused channel, I've talked a lot about the things the Jaguars did right recently to help Trevor Lawrence become the quarterback that everyone thought he could be. Now, the Indianapolis Colts have a young rookie quarterback, and unlike the last two big-name rookies they had at that position, Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, Anthony Richardson is not viewed as a slam dunk to be successful in the NFL. I think a lot of people think that he's going to be Justin Fields-esque early in his career, and then hopefully morph into a really good passer as well. But I think a lot of the mentality is there's a really good chance Richardson is going to be a run-first quarterback for at least a little bit here to start his NFL career until the game slows down a little bit. Fine. I talked recently about how the Jaguars did a few things with Trevor Lawrence that allowed him to be very successful. Notably, his O-line has been improving. They got him a great head coach, Doug Peterson, very quarterback-friendly head coach. The Jaguars have a running game. Travis Etienne over 1,000 yards last season. They went out and got Trevor Lawrence some weapons to play with, some receivers that could create separation, making throws easier, making reads easier. You know, you can think about it this way. It's easy for a quarterback if the first read is wide open. You throw the ball. There's less reading to do if the first person you look at is an open receiver. And Trevor Lawrence has had issues with moving off the first read in the past where he locks onto a guy. That's often where he gets into a little bit of trouble. He's had some of those issues. He's had growing pains as a young quarterback. I would expect the Colts' Anthony Richardson to have a lot of those same growing pains. But one of the biggest things you can do to help out a young quarterback is to give them a really good running game. The Colts have, under contract, one of the best running backs in the NFL, JonathanTaylor. He's a fantastic back. And a young quarterback with a really strong running game, that takes a lot of pressure off that young signal caller, right? There's the ever-present threat of a run busting out for 50, 60, 70 yards to the house. Play action is way more effective when the defense respects the running game. With JonathanTaylor, the defense always respects the Colts running game. He's a great back. He's a top-tier NFL running back. Now, I understand that there is a gap between what JonathanTaylor wants from Indianapolis and what they are willing to give him. I can accept that, and I think even JonathanTaylor, whether he likes it or not, at the end of the day, I think he would probably admit it's a business and he understands that there's going to be a negotiation there. Or, in the Colts case, they're saying, hey, you're under contract, we're not negotiating with you right now. Fine. That's not going to make him happy, but fine. What you don't want is ownership inflaming an already unhappy player. JonathanTaylor, not thrilled how the lack of negotiations is going, and then Jim Irsay comes out and talks about the running backs agents sort of selling them on this bad faith argument of renegotiating something that's part of the CBA, which is not up for renegotiation for several more years. I'm just going to say this. If I was the owner of an NFL team and I had a star unhappy player, I would let my GM do the negotiating. Now, if I was Jerry Jones, then that's me. But I've always been a fan of owners that hire good football minds and then let their football people do their jobs. And Jim Irsay is one that a lot of the times, what he says is very benign. He's very candid, and I actually appreciate that. You know, you can get some reality from what Jim Irsay says, or at least his version of reality. But occasionally, he just doesn't do a great job of self-censoring, and this is where it actually hurts his own team. Because an unhappy JonathanTaylor, if he does play, probably isn't going to give you the entire 100% every single play. Those injuries that might be just sort of little things that would normally you'd play through, you might be less willing to play through. Not only that, but in that locker room, how many of those other players are looking at this situation going, oh, he's like our best player, and this is how we're treating him? We're calling him and his agent out in public? I don't think it's a good look for the Indianapolis Colts ownership. And I understand that at the end of the day, yes, Jonathan Taylor is under contract. He's expected to play by the Colts ownership. I get it. Got it. But if you're the Colts, you should be playing the long game here. I know you don't want to overpay a running back at a position where they're viewed often as players that get used up very early in their careers, but you have a young rookie quarterback that needs as much support as possible, especially because he's considered such a raw talent. You might end up overpaying a little bit to get him a weapon, or in this case, just to keep a weapon happy for a few more years. But ultimately, it's probably worth it. Remember, the Jaguars were accused of overpaying their free agents last offseason. Christian Kirk was believed to be overpaid. Zay Jones, overpaid. Evan Ingram, believed to be overpaid. After last season, no one was saying that because Trevor Lawrence had gone from a bottom 10 quarterback to a top 10, arguably top 5 NFL quarterback because he had good weapons to work with. So sure, the Colts might save a little money now, forcing Jonathan Taylor to play under this contract that he's clearly unhappy with. But the repercussions could be longer lasting, and I don't know that the Colts really need their owner inflaming a contract negotiation any more than it needs to be, and putting it in the limelight when you'd probably rather have that contract negotiation all take place behind closed doors. If Jonathan Taylor ends up unhappy with how it goes, maybe he walks, but it doesn't become a public spectacle and kind of an ugly look for a franchise that's been trying to bounce back since Andrew Luck retired after, by the way, the Colts had mismanaged his injuries and his career. Just my thoughts. And I want to know yours in those comments down below. Also, if you like the video, like, share, and subscribe. All those things very helpful. And I'll let YouTube send you a few more videos from the channel to watch, and I will see you all in the next one.